What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today, I want to get into the New York Jets meeting with one of the top draft prospects on the defensive side of the football. So we found out on Tuesday that the New York Jets will be meeting with Mason Graham, someone who is expected to go towards the top of the NFL draft. The New York Jets have spent a considerable amount of time with Mason Graham, including formal interviews at the Combine, a dinner the night before his pro day, and now a top 30 visit. So Mason Graham was someone that a lot of Jet fans talked about, I feel like early on in this process in like December and January, and then we got much more onto the Tyler Warren and Armand Membou train. But let's talk through the pros and the cons of Mason Graham. So what stands out from him? He has an explosive first step. He can eat double teams. He's good against the run, moves well laterally, which is important for defensive linemen, especially in the run game, getting off their block and creating plays down behind the line of scrimmage. And he's a versatile player. He can play anywhere between the 0 tech and 5 tech on the defensive line. A 4-3 interior defensive lineman is how I think he projects at the next level. The Jets likely to keep their 4-3 defense. So I think he would be a fit. There's some debate whether or not he is or is not a fit. We'll touch on that in a little bit. As for cons, he came in just slightly underweight for some people. He came in at 296 pounds, and people freaked out over it because he was under 300 pounds. That is not something that worries me. I think the tape speaks for itself with a player like Mason Graham, and I truly think he would be an immediate impact player next to Quinnen Williams. And no, I don't think they're too similar. That's why people worry whether or not Mason Graham is a fit for the New York Jets, because the fear is that he's too similar to what Quinnen Williams can do. Why I think Mason Graham frees up Quinnen Williams and isn't too repetitive is because I don't think defensive or offensive lines rather can face the Jets defensive line and go, you know what, we're going to double Quinnen and take him out on the interior because the Jets don't have anyone of quality next to Quinnen Williams. That's what they did a lot last year with guys like Javon Kinlaw, with guys like Solomon Thomas, and Quinnen Williams did not have the statistical season I would have liked to. He still was an impact with some of the, behind the scenes stuff, things that don't show up necessarily in box scores. But if you have a guy like Mason Graham, well, if you double team Quinnen, Mason Graham's going to find a way to get 10 sacks. And that's not how teams are going to want to play. So this is just another absolute freak on the interior of a defensive line. And sure, this is a deep defensive line class. And it kind of goes back to the argument that some people make with Tyler Warren at the tight end position, where if it's such a deep class, why not wait and draft someone? And sure, you can make that case, but I think it's also understandable if a team wants to get the best of the best. And in terms of interior defensive line, I don't think you're going to find any better in this draft than Mason Graham. Field Yates, who covers the NFL draft for ESPN, called him a zero weakness player. This is someone who came into Michigan as a freshman, an 18-year-old, and was playing well against strong competition. This past year, just flat out dominant, 5 sacks, 34 pressures, a lead against the run. In his first 3 years at Michigan, he was very, very good against the run. We saw the production in the pass rush catch up a little bit this year, and this is a no-brainer starter at the next level. And in my opinion, I don't think it's a guarantee he's there for the Jets at number 7. I think, teams like Jacksonville and teams like the Raiders will consider drafting him with the 5th and 6th pick. But if he is on the board at 7 when the New York Jets are selecting, even if Armand Membou's there, even if Tyler Warren's there, I don't think we can rule out the possibility of them taking Mason Graham. And while we've spent a ton of time in recent weeks debating Tyler Warren and debating guys like Armand Membou, don't rule out Mason Graham. If he's there, I could totally see the Jets selling themselves on this idea, filling out the defensive line, building through the trenches. Now they'd have to get creative and find a tackle and a tight end and wide receiver help in rounds 2 through 6, where they have other picks in this draft. And that shit makes it a little bit more challenging. If you go defense first, you have to hit on day 2 and day 3 on some of your offensive players. But Graham is a special talent. And if the Jets do decide to draft him, I totally understand it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.